Season 2, Part 1 of the Wednesday series has arrived on Netflix, which has 4 episodes, and the next 4 episodes of Season 2, Part 2 will be released in September. So in today's video, we are going to watch the episodes of Season 2, where I will explain the first episode today, and the rest of the episodes will also be released soon. I hope you like it. You will find its link in the description pin comment below. If you don't understand anything, let's go now. Without further ado, let's go. So, Season 2, Part 1. Episode 1 begins with the ending of the last season, where all the kids went on summer vacations. And now the vacations are over, and Wednesday completed his novel during these vacations. He created many myths, and his brother. We see Campus City Labor, where we see Wednesday being held hostage in the killing room of a serial killer. So, in Season 1, Once City had found Goody's book, Book of Shadows, from Laurel Gate, which contains Goody's copy of all the teachings and lessons, and with their help, in a way, with Goody's guidance, Wednesday is now able to use the power of her vases correctly. She also understood the powers of this pendant in the last season. So, in order to see the right business at the right time, she generalizes the power from the pendant, and is able to see the vases again. Now, after increasing her ability, her first thought was to fulfill her unfulfilled childhood dream. That is, to become a series and catching the serial killer who has been killing many people for years. Special Girls now sends Think, that is, this hand, to the police station from where she brings a bowling ball of a victim that was dropped by the victim during the kidnapping, and with its help, she sees the killer's face, name, and everything through Once Upon a Time. Now in the next scene, she reaches the city of Cancel, but all her hidden weapons are taken out at the airport. Along with Think, there were a lot of blades there. She was carrying a lot. Well, finally, she reaches the killer's house where she gives him a chance to take a second nap, and by doing so, she came inside the killing workshop of Skulker. Coming back to the present time, the killer comes to kill him, who wanted to decorate him like a doll by killing him, but Thing was also there, who attacks the killer, and now finally Wednesday punishes her for what she did. Here, we and Thing notice one thing. Whenever Wednesday was watching the movies, her black tears were falling, which she didn't pay much attention to. The next day, she gets ready to go to school and talks to her mother, who says that they haven't spent much time together yet, and this was the first time Wednesday was telling herself to go to school. Now, Wednesday gets a little concerned about her black tears and tries to find an answer in Goody's book, but there was no answer there, meaning there was no mention of such black tears. But she didn't want to talk much about it to her mother either. Well, in the next scene, Wednesday's parents are going to leave her and Prixley at Nevermore because now Bixley has also been admitted there, and his powers are like Uncle Pester's, meaning electric waves. Now Wednesday, the generator, continues to harass him, but also teaches him to control his powers, and in fact, the whole family is a cat, so on the way, she also causes a big accident, which doesn't matter to them. Now in the meantime, we see a man secretly taking photos of a couple, and this couple was probably having an affair in the office, which someone wants to spy on, and this man must be capturing them for that very reason. Well, now, a lot of raven birds suddenly come to this man, and we know that Raven does not come alone, but brings death with it. So here she has come, as Death herself, which attacks this man and destroys him. And before dying, this man informs someone that maybe he has been found, and all the files and evidence are on his disk. And here we also see the leader bird of the rivers, which is quite creepy to look at, with one eye red and one broken. Then Wednesday came to school, which all the kids greet because now she has become like a hero there. But she never wanted to be a hero. She had to save Collymore because it has become her favorite school. Now, Banka goes there and scares away the girls who came to get her autograph with all her songs and talks to Wednesday a little, because in the last season she had become a little normal. Then now the new principal of the school, Mr. Barry Dot, greets her, who seemed to be a very fun, loving, and funny person. He says that he is starting the tradition of drinking powder at the Nevermore again, which will have a big bonfire inside, and Wednesday will be the student of honor in it. Plus, Larissa Wayans had turned everything upside down in the school, which she will buy right away. And Wednesday is not interested in anything she says right now, and her nature was like that now she is in her room. She comes and meets her friend Aunt, who was quite a bit older and had brought a gift for Wednesday, and Wednesday also brought a gift for her, which was the same serial number, which was a doll. He used real human hair inside it. In fact, Aunt says that it is quite soft. It looks like a reel, so it is a big deal. If it is a reel, it will look soft. Well, both of them talk a little more, where Wednesday tells that the publisher found mistakes in her novel and returned it. But End is avoiding it, hiding from it, because Aunt feels like she's not right for Ajax. Now, when Wednesday opens the door, there was already a bow and arrow setup here that gets shot by the driver, and there was a photo on it that was of Wednesday talking to Barry, and it was written on the photo that he was still keeping an eye on Wednesday, meaning that he was still stalking her. In fact, the musical system box with Laurel Gates also had photos of him inside, meaning that someone had been watching him since the start. Kirpos tries to see the visions from the photo, but she sees the black stalker's POV, but she can't see the stalker, which makes Wednesday a little upset, and her black eyes start falling again, after which we see Pixley, who was in her room, where Eugene is her roommate. It is said that since Hyde was attacked, he has always been bothered by his night. Now, the person who is trying to befriend Eugene is trying to befriend him, but Eugene says that he already has friends and that he will see how much bonding they have first, so they will be friends. Now, in the meantime, Alex, who is his new Dom advisor, also comes there and talks about Thornhill, that is, about Laurel Gates, who was in prison. Now, in the next scene, we see Vince Day with his family and Principal Barry, where he tells that Xavier's father, who was the chairperson of the gala's pin raiser committee, has now withdrawn his name and has left here. At the same time, they have made Xavier grow up in the Nevermore Academy in Switzerland. So Barry wants Mozia to become the chairperson of the gala's fundraiser committee and bring him back here. They show them their room, which was originally the Laurel Gates room, meaning the third was light and she was in prison. Marshall talks to Wednesday that if she is uncomfortable, she will not stay here, and currently no guardian spirit from Wednesday's bloodline has come to her, so until then, she can become her mentor. And now, in the midst of the conversation, Motitia mentions her sister Ophelia, who was also a Greybon, and a tragedy had happened to her. Then Motitia says from the gum that Wednesday is hiding something, and this time she will not let what happened before happen, meaning that something terrible has happened in the past, which started like Wednesday, meaning that the same black eyes now go to the woods with Wednesday, where she sees the death spot of the man who was killed by ravens, and only then we see that the noble Gilpin who happens here had left the work, who appears to Wednesday after talking to whom she follows him. Well, he tells that the victim's name was Call, and he used to be her friend. Now, these people were working on a case in which there is a threat to the outcast. We wonder why he is so worried about the outcast. He tells that his son is also an outcast, and now if Wednesday supports him, they can get to the bottom of this case. He also tells Raven to stay calm because she is watching everyone, and then we see the leader Ribbon sitting there, who was watching over them. Now in the next scene, the story moves to the school where Ajax is telling the story to all the students, which is a tradition. The way to school is told to everyone. So in reality, there was a sick child whose heart was quite weak, and he was lying in bed with his invention. He kept making drawings of the machine, but he had very little of it, so he made a mechanical hard drive for himself. And then he was fine. He kept making it, but he had very little money, so he made a mechanical hard for himself, and then he got better. Now, gradually, he became quite gold and amnesiac, which never killed him, but his enunciations became quite dark, and he died during an accident. Now, his evil one was made Barry under the skull, and whenever someone poked the skull in the eye, he would get really faceless. Now, in the meantime, the new Principal Barry is shown who was threatening the banks to become the head of the donation committee for the gala and bring as many donations as possible, which would have both right and wrong ways. That is, like his own subordinates were doing. And she didn't want to do that. But here, she had no choice, because they had said that if she didn't do that, then they would kick her out of here. Which makes Bang Ka feel quite upset, and forced to think that she had to do this. Now, in the meantime, we see the talker who was tracing every move of Wednesday, and from a photo, he removes the kid-outs of her eyes. And here, we still can't see the talker's face. Then, Wednesday is playing her cello with her new music teacher, Miss Capriati, who is famous because she launched her first album at the age of just 10, and here both of them start talking a little bit. In the next scene, the preparations for the bonfire are going on where Perry asks Motitia to become the chairperson of the gala. He speaks to become a person, and the bank was also ready for this thing. Well, now we see the brick that makes Think a miniature house, where he will live in peace. Now I read the letter sent by Xavier to Davy's Day, in which Xavier mentioned the drawing he made that suddenly appeared to him in his dreams and his relationship with Raven Heads. Now, Wednesday gets a message from the stalker that he has taken Bose's Nobel and will burn it in the bonfire, which makes her very upset. She goes outside, then the stalker sends her another note with blades on it, which makes her a little bit angry. The note says that if you want answers to Wednesday's Nobel and the rest of the questions, go inside the bonfire. So she goes outside and finds the Nobel kept there. The lamp is being lit, but it stays on. Benzide takes out the nom from inside her, and now she is going to mail the painting to give it to her and all the other saviors. But Once Day has burned the painting, saying that she is no good and is not a hero at all, and she will have to accept it as it is. At the same time, she was threatening her stalker in a way that she would find and destroy him. In the next scene, we see Boxley, who was going to the 10 cult, and here he accidentally activates the evil of the boy with the mechanical heart, with his electric power. That is, he revives him who had come out of the ground, and Boxley finds it quite fascinating and cool. Then the second one is talking to Once Day, and now Wednesday comes with the ones in which the Ravenbirds had brought her inside the graveyard. And here she finds Enid's Grey, which the spirit tells Wednesday that End died because of this, and it was a complete shock to Wednesday, with which the first episode ends here. So friends, this was the story of Once Upon a Time Season 2 Part 1, Episode 1. I hope that you have found the stories so far interesting, and the next episodes are even more interesting, so you will have a lot of fun watching them. Quickly subscribe to the channel so that notifications will reach you quickly. So I will meet you all with the next video.